How's it going, YouTube? This is TCG, and welcome back to Kerbal's Space Program. And, well, as you can see, I'm doing a series on Kerbal Space Program. You see, I wanted to do this when the Wii U version of the game came out, but since I really don't know if that'll ever happen, frankly, I've decided to go ahead and just do it with this. So I am running the latest version, which is version 1.1.2 down there, and it is 64-bit, which means that this game should run a whole lot more smoothly, which means hopefully live commentary. Anyway, enough of that prologue. Let's go ahead and start a new game. And we are, of course, going to be calling this save name Skulls Space Program. Yes, I believe that is good. Now, what I'm going to be doing is something different than what most people do. Most people who do a Let's Play series or so on YouTube, they go with the career mode. The other more popular, the other more popular option, and the one that I personally love the most, is Sandbox, which basically lets you do anything you want. It's basically a sandbox. What I'm going to be doing is the Science mode, which works very similarly to career mode, except you don't have to worry about funds, and you don't have to worry about recruiting new Kerbals and stuff like that. Basically, all you have to do is unlock the tech tree by doing certain achievements on Kerbin and throughout the Kerbin's solar system. So, difficulty options, we've basically got all sorts of things here to, well, we could tweak any of this if we want, but I really don't care. So we're going to go ahead and go with normal, accept, and well, let's pick a flag. Let's pick a good flag for this, shall we? And oh yeah, if you are one of my normal viewers and you don't want to watch this, then I perfectly understand. This is just a game that I love, and I know that there is a following out there for it, and I hope you guys end up loving it as well. So pick the NASA flag because I love NASA. I love manned space exploration. Let's go ahead and get started. See what's in store for us. And hopefully I'll be able to explain some of this to any of you who've stuck around this long, who maybe weren't interested to begin with, but I really hope you do become interested. Let's see. I actually haven't played this game beyond version 1.0, so I don't know what any of these really mean here. Oh, okay, so this is just telling us all the stuff that is here. We don't need to worry about that right now. All we care about is the sweet, sweet science. What do I mean by science? Well, let's take a look at this really quick. Zoom out. You see all of these different things on this tree here? These are the science. This is the tech tree. Whenever you get a little bit of science by doing certain things in Kerbal Space Program, you can use it to unlock new things, and then with those new things you can get more science to unlock more new things. Basically, this is an extremely simplified career mode where you don't have to worry about funds, you don't have to worry about reputation, you just have to worry about getting science. So, at the very start here, we have two things that we're aiming for: Engineering 101 and Basic Rocketry. So those are 5 science each, so our first order of business is just to try and get 5 science. And how are we going to do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go to this vehicle assembly building that I just clicked on and we're waiting to load. The 64-bit version, like I said, should speed things up quite a bit, but I'm still running on a poop computer, so this is Werner von Kerman, based off of Werner von Braun, a literal rocket scientist. He was basically single-handedly in charge of building the Saturn V. He worked for the Nazis in World War II, then he defected to the United States, and he basically made some of the best rockets in history for them as a result. So over here on the left side of the screen, we have all sorts of different things. We have this command pod under pods. Now you need a pod to put Kerbals in. Kerbals are basically just little green men, as you can see here, just walking all around this side of the screen. They need pods to live in and survive while they're in space. Think of them as the actual spacecraft in the traditional sense. You would also have fuel tanks, which we don't have, engines, and we do have one of those, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Command and control, structural, we do have these modular girder segments. Basically, these are physics lists, just a little bit of extra. to help build onto it. We have some basic tail fins. We have a parachute. Again, not going to need to worry about that quite yet. And we do have mystery goo. And this down here, you see this is marked science. That means as we unlock things and new things appear in this segment, this is what we'll be using to get more science so we can unlock that tech tree and continue on to greater, bigger, and more amazing things. So the first thing we're going to do is get this command module here. This is just the Mark 1 command pod. It can only hold one Kerbal, and if you're not familiar with Kerbal Space Program, Jebediah Kerman is the most famous of all the Kerbals. So he will be our starter. And then I'm going to put a mystery goo there just for the fun of it. And, well, honestly, let me zoom in there a little bit. Honestly, this may not look like much, but I'm willing to bet that this, between this and Jebediah Kerman, we're going to be able to get enough science to unlock the next thing in the tech tree. Not even going to bother naming it or saving it. Let's just launch the craft. This won't be going into space. It won't even be going up a millimeter into the air, folks. This is just to get some basic science. So you can get them from several different places. The most obvious thing is the mystery goo here, and we are going to record the mystery goo, and you can see it opening it up there. Exposing it to the elements. The goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. And as you can see, this is taken from the launch pad. So we have three options here: resetting the experiment, transmitting the data, which isn't any good since we don't have a way of transmitting it, and keeping the experiment. And we are going to do that. And there is another way to get scientific just to get science out of this. Right-clicking the crew hatch, you see all these different things here. Well, one such option is the crew report, which is basically when an astronaut looks out the window and tells you what you see. You record the crew's assessment of the situation, and we're going to keep that. And finally, there is one more thing we can do. And it's actually a series of things. We're going to send Jebediah out on EVA. EVA stands for extravehicular activity. It's the more official way of saying a spacewalk. As you can see, we're actually not in space. We are here on Kerbal, but you can see the moon over there in the background. That's cool. So we're going to just go ahead and do an EVA report. This is a most precarious situation. We're going to go ahead and keep this data, but as you can see up here, whenever you take a report, it tells you where the report was taken. And this was actually taken flying over Kerbal shores. Because we're not actually on Kerbal right now, we are hanging off the door of this command pod. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep that data, and now we're going to put it inside the pod. We're going to we're going to store the experiment. And now what we're going to do is have Jebediah step down off of the spacecraft onto the surface of Kerbal, let go, and take another surface sample. Oh, actually, we have another thing here. We can take the surface sample. The surface is charred and coated with burnt rocket propellant. There are also trace amounts of conspicuous green substance. That sounds pretty ominous considering Kerbals are green, and also ominous since we haven't actually launched any rockets yet. So when you're on the surface, you can both take a surface sample and take another EVA report, which I'm going to do here. I don't think a spacesuit was really necessary to get here, was it? So now we have all that science, and we haven't even had to launch the rocket yet. Let's just go ahead and climb back up so we can actually get back in. And I don't know why it says climb out here, but we are going to board. And well, that's basically it. Now all we have to do is go back up here and recover the vessel, and voila, we just got all of that science basically for free. Now there's a whole lot of other places you can go within the Space Center area if you want more free science. But for a first mission, we get 21.5 science. I'd say that that's pretty darn awesome. So let's go ahead and go to the research and development and get both of these new things from the tech tree. We get both basic rocketry and engineering. And you know what? We actually have 11 science left, which means well, never mind. I thought that we had something that was just 10. The next thing is survivability, which gives us, let's see, some new parachutes, a heat shield, service bay, which is the service bay actually gives us more science. But until then, we do have some new things to play with, and I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Looks like I've been going on for about 10 minutes this episode. I'm going to try and make it between 15 and 20. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to go up into the sky. So let's see, did we get any fuel tanks out of that? Oh, we did. Did we get any engines? Yes, we did. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put Valentina Kerman in now because she is our other pilot. Need to split it up as evenly as possible. That's more important in career mode than here. Here it's not that big of a deal, but I'm still trying to give them all. Oh, we have the decoupler. That's even more perfect. Okay, going to decouple. Going to put a few fuel tanks here because you do need fuel in order to, you know, light up a rocket and send it places. So let's see if I can get this to work. Like, that's probably good. Now let's get a rocket. And when you have all these fuel tanks are necessary for liquid rockets. Solid rockets like these two here, they have their own fuel. The liquid rocket needs to feed the fuel down into it and spew it out. So that looks like a very simple rocket. I'm going to see if I can't send this a little bit higher. Let's see which one of these has a bigger thrust vector. They're both pretty similar, but it actually looks like this one is not the one I want. I do want this one. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put another decoupler between the two, and I'll explain what I'm doing here when I actually get to the flight itself. Now that looks pretty good. And even more amazing, we actually do have some more science. So really quickly, I'm going to put a communitron on here, basically an antenna, so we can transmit the data if we so need to. I'm going to go ahead and put two mystery goos here. Toggle snap. There, now it's snapped to angles, and there. You see, there's one on either side, and let's see, can I move this down because I want that Science Junior? Yeah, there we go. Okay, now this is basically done, but if I'm going up, I want a way of making sure I can come down safely, and for that we will need a parachute because we don't want to die. And let's see, anything else? Oh yes, basic fins. We do want fins to make sure we keep going up straight. So let's just get 4 of those, say, and then another 4. That looks good. Now I don't know how stable this is, but we are going to find out. When we do, we're going to go up and we're going to get as much science as possible. So I will rename this spacecraft this time. I'm going to. Okay. They changed it since the last version. Let's call this Sky Hop 1. Yes, that seems like a good name for this. Let's go ahead and make sure our staging is correct because the last thing we want is to ruin our staging. And save it and launch. Okay, just a quick aside here. I decided to use the Science Junior on Kerbin's surface and then recover the vessel, so I would basically get to reset it for free and then relaunch it again. So we're fast forwarding to that time. And, well, we're just gonna go up into, well, we're not gonna make it into space, I don't think. This thing just doesn't have the energy required. It's called Delta V. It doesn't have that kind of energy. But with any luck, it will go up and go high, and we're going to see just how well it does. Valentina Kerman, are you ready to be the first Kerbal to fly into the air? In 5, 4, launch! Now we are going up, which is great. We do want to go up, of course. So now that we're actually flying, we want to observe the mystery goo, and the goose jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. Okay, we're going to keep that data. Let's see, the goo and the Science Junior will both be recoverable with the pod. See, the decoupler right here, actually we're about to burn out this stage anyway, so I'm going to show you how the decouplers work. Basically, they separate this stage from the next stage. So this stage just pushes up a little bit up, then it separates and we get rid of a whole lot of weight. And then we activate the next stage, which sends us even higher using more powerful thrust because, of course, we don't weigh as much. So 30, 20, 10, and we're basically out, decouple, and there we go. Oh, our velocity is actually pretty high here, so we're going to back off of that. We're going really fast through the atmosphere. We are right now so low. About when you hit 10,000 meters or 10 kilometers is when you want to go full thrust. We don't want to fight the atmosphere on our way up. And we're going to see exactly how high we do go. And I think I'll wait until we actually get to the top of our arc here before I observe the materials, but I want to get as much science as possible out of it. So we could see we are back up over 10,000 meters, so we're going to keep going up. And actually, part of me does wonder if this is going to go into space, or maybe not into orbit. I mean, definitely not into orbit, but do wonder if it's going to go into space. Let me go ahead and check the map really quick. Oh, this is definitely going into space. Oh my goodness, I'm actually going to have to burn a little to the east here, so I don't so I don't come back into the atmosphere too steeply. In fact, I'm going just to cut my thrust here. Oh my goodness. I'm going all the way into space. It looks like I do have the tiniest bit of fuel left over here. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into the front here. You always want a front-heavy spacecraft as much as possible because that makes it very stable. Valentina Kerman, you are going to go into space. Oh my goodness.
Who are you talking to?
Pardon my sister, she doesn't understand that I am recording a video right now. But yeah, okay, I could observe some mystery goo right now. I think I'll wait until you know what? No, actually, I'm going to do it right now because there will be future space missions, and so I know that I'm going to be using all this science on future space missions. But I do want to use this Science Junior in space. I do want to do that. So really quickly, let's go ahead and yeah, don't show again. This is basically a clean save file. Let's go ahead and fast forward to the point where we're in space. And I think I will want to keep this in the back there. Okay, and once you hit 70,000 meters, you're basically in space, or 70 kilometers. So now we're going to observe the materials bay. The microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are also flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. So we're going to keep that, obviously. And now let's see. Oh, I didn't take any crew reports earlier. That's fine. It seems we are very much in space right now. The sky seems to be mostly blue. The very first launch I ever did, and it was actually in space. I actually got into space. I can't believe that. Didn't plan that at all. Okay, Valentina, let's send you on an actual spacewalk and get a report. You've recorded your observations about the situation. And here's a little trick that you can do. You're going to want... see, we've done a crew report before, but the pod actually has two states. One where it just records the data and another where it stores the data. So what we're going to do is take that data that it recorded, and now we are going to store it inside, which means we can basically take another crew report when we are falling back down through the atmosphere. And as you can see, we just began falling down now, so how's my electric charge looking? It's looking good. When I do future space missions, I will want to put batteries on here, I think, because once you run out of electric charge, you're basically screwed. So let's go ahead and just fall into the atmosphere. When we get a little lower, I will be using the engine to slow us down just a little. Let's see. And we are going to be waiting a long time to deploy this parachute. I'm basically going to use the engine to slow us down, and then I'm going to ditch the engine and all the fuel tanks, and then I'll be hopefully then the atmosphere will slow me down enough for me to deploy the parachute and save everything. If it becomes apparent, actually I'll do a quick save real quick. If it becomes apparent that I'm just not going to survive, then I'm going to transmit as much as possible. And that is dependent on how much electric charge I have. Let's just go ahead and move this retrograde so we're falling basically tail first. That's what we want. We're coming in really steep, over a kilometer a second. I don't know about this. But on the bright side, now is probably a good time to do another crew report. You record the crew's assessment of the situation. That's let's actually transmit that. How much electricity will that take? All of it. Great. That was not smart. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to waste the rest of my fuel to slow us down right now. Okay, and now ditch that. See, it's just flying through. Oh, uh-oh. No. Okay, close the doors, close the doors. Close the blast doors, close the blast doors. And come on. I don't know if I can slow down enough. Oh, come on. Okay, parachute. Just tell me when it's safe to deploy. It's unsafe, Uh-oh. Valentina, come on, pull out of it. You can do it. I believe in you. Valentina? Okay, you're just 2 kilometers up. Oh, it's safe. Deploy. Oh, you hear that sound? Right there. That's where it crashed our second stage. Oh, okay. We're deployed. We're safe. Okay. Quick save again. Valentina, can you do a spacewalk really quick and give us an EVA report from over Kerbin's oceans? This is the most precarious situation. Yes, it is. Now board, that's even more science for us to gather. Yeah. And we have safely landed in the ocean. Okay, that's great. That's absolutely great. So, Valentina, can you really quickly go out and get us an EVA report from the ocean itself? Oh, we already got this one, I'd like to say. Okay, yeah, cancel, Okay, now here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to let go. Now I'm going to swim away from the spacecraft just a little bit, and we're going to take a surface sample and keep that, and take another EVA report, overwrite, yeah, and now we are in the water, so this is another biome, actually. So now what we're going to do is recover the vessel. In this case, the vessel is actually Valentina, and then when I go to the world map of Kerbin, then I can recover the actual spacecraft from there. Valentina herself gave us a new 20 science just from her. Can't wait to see how much the spacecraft gave us. Yeah, I got it, Werner von Kerman. Okay, spacecraft is... Wow, we actually went a fair distance. Let's go ahead and recover. And we got another 67.6 science. We're up to 111 science. Anyway, I hope in the next video I'll be able to actually orbit Kerbin and maybe even reach the moon. Let me know what you think about this video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the series. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.